us in. All right. It is about that time for Ready, Set, Real Estate. Go ahead and drop a comment, say hi, say hello. If you're catching us on the live, we broadcast on demand everywhere. Wednesdays on demand on Facebook Live. Now remember, this show is a proud supporter of Real Estate 100 Youth Foundation, where we seek and teach to empower youth ages 11 and up with real estate literacy. That's terms, concepts, and careers as an alternate pathway to success. You are catching us on season 5. Gosh, it is mind-blowing for me to even say I'm in a season. And season 5, episode 3, we are covering the Bahamas. And I'm really honored, and just my spirit was moving me to shed some light, given that when we have platforms such as the show, the thing called our phone in our hand, we have the ability to communicate to the rest of the world what's going on, what's impacting our communities, what's affecting our loved ones, and we can do something about it. So I wanted to make sure that I did what I could and to bring some attention to how Hurricane Dorian has impacted our Bahamian community. And this for me, actually just, it's really close because Matt Sweeting, who is here with us on the live, he's Chief Executive Broker of Darville Wong Realty based in Nassau, Bahamas. Yes. So he is actually in the Bahamas, and Matt and I connected through social media, and we have great plans coming in store. And I'm really excited about that and those opportunities. And you know what, to hear something like this happen, I just wanted to make sure I checked on my brother and to make sure that he was okay and to hear his perspective. So that's what today's show is about, is for you guys to learn a little bit from not only someone that is there and I'm sure has some family and connections there, but to really tell us and share with us firsthand experience and perspective. Because at this point with social media, it's difficult to weigh out what is true and not. So before I bring Matt on again, I want to make sure that you are connected with us and subscribing to our show on radio podcasts everywhere. That's Spotify, Google Play, Anchor FM, iTunes, Stitcher, Breaker, Castbox, on and on and on. And again, keyword Ready, Set, Real Estate, and it'll come right up and you don't have to do anything else. Matt Sweeting is really the AFL brand. And that's how we connected, actually, just from a podcasting perspective. He is a real estate professional, and the AFL brand is your agent for life. And I know this is why we hit it off, because we know we do this for long game, and it's truly about being a service to our community, albeit our industry professional community and our prosumer community, meaning our clients and customers who are owners, sellers, buyers, and investors. And so your agent for life has now become an elite group of real estate agents committed to unparalleled customer service. Again, unparalleled customer service. And when you learn more about him and meet him, you'll see this guy's the truth. He says, as the only real estate team in the entire country carrying the ABR, that is the Accredited Buyers Representation designation, they specialize in buyer representation in a market that sorely needs it. He's a full service real estate brokerage powered by the Darville Wong Realty brand, offering the full range of real estate services. And he is a member, or they are members, to the Bahamas MLS, and it gives their team exclusive access to over 1,000 real estate listings in the Bahamas. What better person to bring on the show other than the man himself? Matt, welcome to the show. How are you? Oh, let me make sure I turn you on. Hold on. Let's do that again. All right, Matt, welcome to the show.
Now. It is such a pleasure to be on. I was waiting. I was looking that my mic was muted. Fortunately, it was, but I was bubbling over. Just excited to be invited on your show. Loved all the accolades. It's always interesting to hear your bio read back to you, and sometimes you're kind of like, oh, okay, I did do that, right? But it is amazing to be here, and so I really appreciate your invitation.
Absolutely, of course. I know we've got a lot of plans in store. Actually, for those who are viewing and listening audience, I actually was a guest on Matt's show, and that's how we connected. And this is the beautiful thing about getting connected, is it affords us the opportunity to tap into someone else's world. And now I felt like, it's one of those unfortunate but fortunate things. So unfortunate that this is going on, right? This is post Hurricane Dorian, which me seeing it in terms of devastation, me being having a family from Central America, Belize. So I get it, being Belize is off the coast of the Caribbean there. So we definitely, our family and our community tends to be impacted by hurricanes all the time. And so I felt like now would be the time to shed some light, because you're dealing, and you can definitely share more about that and paint that picture for us, because this is you living the Bohemian lifestyle of what that looks like, almost constant rebuilding, right? And then I always feel like it comes back better though, right? It comes back better, and it affords everyone an opportunity to do it better, build better. And then you see this synergy, this amazing, just this thing about humanity and love and support come forth. Is that what you're witnessing? To share with us just kind of what this been like.
Yeah, that is exactly it. That is exactly it. I mean, I talked to a number of my colleagues, and just people locally are so impressed by the outpouring of love that we've gotten from the global community. But just to backtrack a bit for people that may not, let's assume you've been under a rock and not have seen and heard.
Right.
Yeah. What's been going on?
Right.
We have been, this hurricane has been a historic storm worldwide, but obviously more specifically for the Bahamas, had threatened to come to the most populated island, Nassau, but ended up hitting our most northern islands, which is Abaco, and then Grand Bahama, which is our second and third most populated islands in the 700 islands and keys. Wow. So of the 700 islands that makes up the islands of the Bahamas, 26 of them are inhabited. And so two of the most populated out of our 380,000 person population, we'd say about 100,000 of them are split between those two islands, and the 280 probably right here in the capital of the island, which is one of the smallest islands, funny enough. But this storm really took a toll on these two islands, and major devastation. They're saying in some parts of the island, 75% of the entire island is unrecognizable. We're talking 15 feet storm surges. We had videos of people who were in the second story of their home with hurricane resistant windows, and we could see the water splashing up against the second floor of the building. Um, you know, I mean, the stories have become countless now
Right.
of the experiences people have had. People trapped in the ceilings of their roofs, and boats coming on the land essentially to save these people. Unfortunately, the numbers are up to about 20 confirmed deceased at the moment.
Mm.
The sad part about it is because, you know, if and again, this is new information to me as well, with storm surges, what I'm understanding now is that when the water is reclines back into the ocean, oftentimes that takes debris and unfortunately people with it. And so
Mm.
a number of people are speculating that we would never know the real death toll that this storm has faced here. And something else, while we only have 20 confirmed dead is based on your family going to the morgue and saying, oh, that is my family member.
Mm.
And so
Identify.
while the numbers may, right, while the number is in the hundreds, those people have not been identified yet. And
Oh,
so that's what it is. What it is, I mean, you know, even though I was on an island that was not affected by it, obviously, those people are my neighbors. We have family there. We have cousins
right.
there. We have connections there. You know, they're our brothers by nationality. And
Yes.
so, you know, I've been talking to a number of psychologists about the emotional impact that something like
Yes.
this has. And,
Yes.
yeah, and even and reflect, you know, thinking about the US and thinking about people that were a state away or a city away from 9/11 and how that must have impacted them, right?
Mhm.
And
Right.
this is our country is this is as devastating as that to us. And so
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And see, I mean, there are no words, and this is why, again, I say for those of us who have a voice, who have the platform, to I would be remiss to not cover this. Are you kidding me? Like to
no,
see something impact and know that we have an extension of community and family and friends, like you said, just brothers and sisters in terms of a diaspora. That's
for
you
sure,
know,
for sure.
and watching this video, I've been seeing snippet of videos, and I think her video is going viral of the sister that was saying she'd never seen anything. She said this was not just a hurricane. She said I've been in certain levels, and she said to see that there's the devastation and that there's nothing left. Um, that just it just tears at my heart because then here's the aspect that I then become concerned about. All the people in need now become susceptible and vulnerable to people who then are out to prey on them.
For sure, for sure,
And I
for sure.
say that because in the wake of this happening, the director of FEMA has just been arrested for bribing monies for the devastation that happened in Puerto Rico.
Wow.
This is a $1 billion contract the government had given out, and she was receiving bribes and gifts and expensive things in order to give a company that contract or almost close to exclusivity over that contract to rebuild the country. And so estate conversation. This is a humanity conversation. This is about we becoming more susceptible to fraud and things like that. It becomes more rampant because immediately, I'm sure everyone's thinking this in terms of what happens to the values and the real estate. And now's the time, right? Now's the time to go in because there aren't too many people that are going to want to invest. But there are
Right,
the few
right.
that do. They put their money in, and then we know it's the ROI, the sweat equity, what you gain on the return on
Yeah.
your money for putting in money into the country. And we've seen that happen also here in the United States in parts that the government, in order to infuse, when Texas had their hurricane, I actually was in
Hmm.
a transaction. The state actually was passing some benefits to investors if they would pour money to rebuild parts of Houston that was impacted.
Right. Right.
So this now become it opens the nation up again from a very vulnerable perspective. And because I'm seeing it and
Yep.
I've dealt with it and I see the fraud, we know it's real. But when you witness it and then you say, gosh, how do we educate our community? How do we let them know, like, here are the right resources, here are the right people to get connected with? Because when you need help desperately, you're just going to say yes to whatever.
For sure. For sure. For sure. For sure. Yeah. And third world countries do have a bit of a stereotype of corruption, and we have
Mhm.
not been entirely free from that in the past. A number of people are distrustful of government holding funds and leading philanthropic efforts and charitable efforts, and so we see quite a bit of that happening right now.
Mm.
Fortunately, people, the response to that from the private sector is to support, levy, put their energies and money behind companies that boast transparency in a place where transparency is kind of few and far between.
That's a good point. I mean, you definitely hit it on the head. You said pretty much this isn't new for us in developing countries, and you see that, which is why the education on terms of when people either are looking to invest in real estate or someplace like the Bahamas is that things tend to be a little bit different, but there's a process, right? There's a
Yeah,
legal process. There's a formality of doing it, and this is why again to shed some light, and it's a snippet of light. And I'm thinking to myself, what else can be done? Because again, it's like when something hits home to Belize for me, and we send barrels of clothes. I know our family, we tend to ship that either on a quarterly, if not an annually, at least collect things once a month, and we ship barrels out. And there's ways of doing that. For um, what efforts has there been any efforts? I mean, I haven't been following as much, and I'm glad first and foremost that at least, you and your family, like when I checked on you, you said, hey, we're good. But there's been a lot of devastation in some of the neighboring islands. Um, what efforts have been put forth thus far? Are you hearing from family and friends that at least, are there any efforts coming through?
yeah, yeah. Considerable. I mean, one of the opening comments I had was that the global community has been so supportive, and I think because they're surprised by how this hit, and again, I mean, people just in Florida.
Uh-oh, he may have gotten a phone call. So we're on.
Yeah,
Oh, he's back. Okay,
yeah,
you're back.
yeah. People in Florida was threatened by this storm as well,
Right.
and so they are fortunate that it didn't make landfall in Florida, but also look at the devastation that it caused here. And so we've had outpouring from USAID, from Red Cross, from the Salvation Army. President Trump has made comments specific to the Bahamas. A number of local organizations, the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce, a number of local organizations have created a GoFundMe's that are doing extremely well online right now, seeing support from all throughout the world. I mean, I'm looking at some of the comments, and every part of the world we're seeing donations from in these would have started as small GoFundMe's that are now well in excess of $1 million. And then on the local front, a number of businesses are saying, okay, well, I can support uh, uh, um, boating transportation from here to there. And we have the U.S. Coast Guard helping evacuees to move from those islands back to Nassau. And so considerable effort. The cruise ships, Carnival, and the other cruise lines that really obviously do big business here, um, have donated tens of thousands of meals, have dedicated efforts to
Wow.
moving people from Grand Bahama, an island where one of their stops are, and bringing them back to the island. I've even heard about people who have family in the US that there's some special permission allowed for them to leave those islands that are devastated and come and spend time in the US. And so considerable support on all fronts, whether it be food, whether it be generators. I saw a guy, and one of the most heartfelt things that I saw was, and this was a post online about a guy going to buy a generator in support of the people that are on these islands. And while he was there, a gentleman was there buying 450, I think the number was,
Mm,
generators from
wow.
a Home Depot or a Costco to be able to send here. And so the support has been impressive. I mean, one of the things that I think contribute to that, outside of the love in the global community, and sometimes that gets overwhelmed by negativity that we share.
Right.
Um, but one of the things that we've been impressed by is how supportive the people throughout the world has been. And because Abaco, one of the islands that were hit most heavily, and even Grand Bahama, I might say, has a huge expat community, right? A lot of people
Right.
move, relocate here for the island lifestyle from Europe, from the US, from all throughout the world. And so I believe that has contributed to the support that we've seen as well.
That is a great point. Would you expand for us, because that I've watched your post and your business in terms of just kind of what your market looks like, and I know you don't have a crystal ball, but how do you project something like this affects the market going forward, if it does at all? People understand if you move to places like this, you would be subjected to hurricanes and those other natural disasters, if you will. But talk to us about the lifestyle, the Bohemian lifestyle. And you mentioned expat, and I feel like people need to hear that in terms of, I'm in Southern California, and a 852 square foot house will run you about 425,000.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. And so I'm actually here right now, so I could kind of take you live on the scene.
Oh,
I'm
let's
in
do
I'm in a
it.
community. I'm in a community here, that's about probably about 10 years old. And this community um, is gated. So again, a number of communities locally have become gated. So this is one of my listings here. Let me see. How's
Oh,
that?
there
Is
it
that
is.
better?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
fantastic. It's my favorite color.
Is it? And so this property here, the land would have originally sold for 60,000, maybe about a decade ago. The land now is worth about 100,000. The building, so you build here for about 100 to $120 per square foot. Uh, Again, we have a rental here. So
Oh, this just got better. I mean, I'm on I'm on the edge of my seat looking at this property right here, and it easily looks like it's close to about 16 to 1900 square feet of land. For those of you who are tuning in on the radio podcast, we're on with Matt Sweeting, and for those of you who had just jumped on, Matt Sweeting is Chief Executive Officer of Darville Wong Realty, based in the Bahamas, and we're covering just kind of the post Hurricane Dorian devastation that has impacted some of the islands there. And so he was walking us through, as we talk about just kind of how something like this impacts real estate there. And so Matt, he's back on, and he's walking us through one of the communities and showing us one of the listings. So we're back with you, Matt. We see you.
yeah, yeah. So I appreciate that. Yeah. So a home like this will probably cost. They probably did a 3 bedroom, 2 bath on the larger side, on the 2 story side, and on the other side they did a 1 bedroom, 1 bath that they're going to rent. This 1 bedroom, and again, I'm impressed about how this development has improved over the last couple of years. This 1 bedroom, well, clients coming here now, and so I'm gonna beg your pardon in a few moments. But this unit rents for we're gonna rent this for $2,000. So here
Two
the
thousand.
the
2,000
2000
US dollars.
2000 US dollars. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Woo!
and so if they were to rent their side, they could probably, if that's a 3 bedroom, they could probably get upwards of $2,800 to $3,000 for that. Um, but people love the Bahamas. I mean, we joke oftentimes that we have one season, and that's summer all the time.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
probably about 85 out now, and it's like this for the better part of the year. It's like this for the better part of the year. And so people love it here because they come here to escape the hustle and bustle of the United States. They come here
Mhm.
to escape the cold weathers in Canada and Europe. And so people have grown to love the Bahamas because of this, because of that. Abaco has a huge community just built from people relocated from other countries. The real estate um, in the higher end of the island range anywhere from 400,000 upwards of 10 million possibly, right? And so super ultra luxury communities there that were devastated by this, and so that's some of the properties that have been affected. Yeah.
Wow. So I think my question, especially, I mean, that's beautiful, by the way, Matt. I want to jump on a plane now. Like that, amidst all this is happening, but look at this space, look at the square footage. I was guesstimating what the square feet would have been on your listing. What's the square feet of it?
The 1 bedroom is probably about 750 square feet.
Okay, 750 square feet and overall, but the property said they developed. Do you know off the top of your head?
60 by 100, 6,000 square feet.
Oh, I was way off. The house is 6,000.
Yeah, 6,000.
Wow. See, your video did it no justice because I said about 1,600 to 1,900. I was way off. This is a 6,000 square foot property living. And so that means the
Uh-huh.
lot is close to maybe 10,000, if not bigger.
Yeah. Yeah. You say that again. Say that again for me.
I was just suggesting what the lot size would be because you said about the land itself was 60,000 worth back then, but now you're close to the 100,000. So the listing for you is a rental. If is it a rental at least, or is this the listing for sale?
It is listed for rent. This
Okay,
is listed for rent.
for
Yeah.
rent. So talk to us
Yeah.
about, I mean, that return, that or ROI. I mean, to develop something like that, and then now you're renting it. This it? We're doing the walkthrough.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me bring you in right quick.
Look at this.
So again, this is a 1 bedroom, and so we come in here, and it's you walk right into the living room with the kitchen, and they're gonna furnish it over the next couple of days here, and then you walk into the bedroom, and it's not super huge either, right?
Yeah, well, it's 750 square feet. I mean,
Right.
something like this, you're renting it there for $2,000. Here, you're close to 395, 400 square feet if it's a single family. But if it's a condo, then it's higher, and then there's HOA fees and all that other stuff. Um, it's actually beautiful. I kind of see some of the finishes that they've done, at least with the door and
Yeah.
the finishes in the house and the property. All I see is that beautiful blue. I see beautiful green grass, and I see beautiful skies amidst something like this hurricane that is a historic
Yeah.
hurricane. And so, you know,
And
do
so Lisa, if I just could add, I know one of the
please.
things that's been happening and that we've seen on the international community is that people are saying, "Wow, Hurricane Dorian went to the Bahamas. Maybe I should cancel my flight." And a
Yeah,
number of people have decided to do that. The message to them is, and the message I've heard from our government as well, is that we could use your business more now than ever
right.
before. And the
Mm.
Bahamas, this community here is near the flight path. And so while I was sitting here, I've seen Southwest, I've seen American Airways, I've seen all the airliners pass me just sitting there for the few moments. And so it's business as usual in the Bahamas. We have the biggest casino in the Western Hemisphere here in the Bahamas in a property called Bahamar. It's a compilation of hotels like the SLS and like Grand Hyatt is in there as well. So things are okay here. You can still come and swim with the pigs. You can still come and enjoy the lifestyle in Nassau, Bahamas without any interruption to what's going on generally.
Mm. See, so that again, this is why a perspective firsthand is important because what we're seeing, I'm sure, right? People are canceling flights. I noticed, as a matter of fact, it showed up on my timeline. Southwest, now has some flights for sale, and they have that window. So it's like, wait a minute, don't disappear, right? Because then we end up crippling our own system
Right.
when we start to operate in fear of and not knowing, right? So some people, when they hear the Bahamas, they're thinking the entire, because that's what I reached out. I said, oh my gosh, like when I
Yeah.
heard it, it was on the news, and I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta reach out to Matt to see if what's going on. And you said, hey, we're fortunately we're okay, but the other islands have definitely experienced their level of devastation. So that's a great point. The Bohemian lifestyle still lives on in Nassau, and
That it does.
and so with that being said, what are, in terms of precautions for someone who is looking to, and like a client who is looking to purchase a primary residence or a second home there, is that something that can be done from those who are living in the United States per se? Because I know some countries have the citizenship requirements. Is that something that the Bahamas has?
Yes, certainly, certainly. You don't have to be a citizen to purchase. We do have a number of purchase options, and so you could purchase obviously as an investment property. You could purchase as a permanent resident. If maybe what a number of people have done for tax purposes, or just looking to enjoy the climate here, have come here, and they use this as their retirement destination. Um, and so that is an option as well. I almost wish I could turn my camera around and show you, because I'm actually driving on the northern waterfront of the island now, where you could get beachfront property, walk right out from your bedroom to the beach, for 495,000. Um,
Mm.
and so it's still relatively affordable here in Nassau. And again, it goes up from there. I mean, we're a hop, skip, and a jump away from ultra luxury communities like Albany or Noble Fort Bay or Lyford Key, where properties on the water would be $20 million. Um, but yeah, if someone wanted to do that, they could very well still purchase here. Precautions, as it were, which you had mentioned. Um, you know, buying in an island like this, obviously comes with some inherent risks, and
Okay.
which we've seen, right?
Right.
And so that is a concern. But obviously, insurances, people that are insured properly, uh, lessen that concern,
Like anything else. So for those of you who are
like anything
listening,
else.
like anything else, and I have to say this in the same context of us also, some of our communities experience one of the larger earthquakes that we've had in a very long time. So it becomes making sure you're insured and you have earthquake coverage. For those of you who are tuning in and you're in the Southern California or California area, do know that earthquake insurance is not automatically included as part of your homeowner's policy. Again, I'll say that again. Earthquake insurance is not automatically included as part of your homeowner's policy. So it's an important conversation that needs to happen. I would imagine, just like in areas where it floods or something like this, those may be riders that you need to purchase and they're not automatically included. And definitely as a professional, we will definitely recommend that you speak to an insurance agent or advisor to make sure your home is properly covered, that the replacement cost is properly factored in terms of having to rebuild the entire structure, and that your items, your personal items, these are things within your home, are properly insured. So this leads to have that conversation about insurance coverage. And that's one of the things that comes with the responsibilities of home ownership. Matt, you're back. So I just wanted to, I know you were kind of in and out, but as we get ready to wrap this up, I just really want to thank you for blocking out some time to just come on and share a perspective. You're alive and well and active. The AFL brand is still rocking, and you've showed just a snippet of what is amazing in terms of what the Bahamas offer. And yeah, I would have loved to see some of those waterfront properties, because I love the water. And you heard it from Matt Sweeting. He's the chief executive broker at Darville Wong Realty, based in Nassau, the Bahamas. If you want to connect with Matt, connect with him at aflbrand.com. Matt, is there another way that you'd like our listening and viewing audience, if they're looking for someone to connect with to learn more about investing in the Bahamas, how should they reach you? Uh-oh, I don't hear you. We'll give him a moment. I think he's got to pull over. I don't, sure. This is the part we want you to plug yourself in. We're not hearing you, and I don't have you on mute this time. It's not me. So aflbrand.com. I do know his social media. He's at Matt Sweeting on Instagram, and I know he's got his own podcast where he definitely spotlights and talks about, what the Bahamas affords you in terms of real estate goes. Matt, can you hear me? I can't hear you. Oh no. Right at our closing, I can't hear you. So he is, again, I think if I can't get him to say it, he is aflbrand.com. That AFL is Agent for Life brand.com. And actually, he's got his contact information there that you can reach out to him there. And again, he is active on social media. This is how we connected. And he's got his podcast where, again, he gets to talk about and feature what's happening with the Bahamian lifestyle as it relates to real estate, and even, like you said, the ultra luxury. And yeah, that's definitely ultra luxury. So he's got his card up. Matt, I don't even have my glasses on, but let me see. Phone number is 242-808, looks like 6868. Give me a thumbs up if I saw that correctly. All right. Okay, I'll read it back again. Go ahead and put it back. It's again, reach him directly at 242-808-6868. And his email is matt@darvillewong.com. I'll go ahead and plug that here in the caption below. And again, he's giving me thumbs up. I don't know what happened, Matt, but I just want to make sure. I want to say thank you again for time blocking. And yeah, it's unfortunate. I normally like to ask my guests to share some parting words with us and our listening audience, just to kind of, send us off, with what you feel would be some great nuggets. But here's what I can do. What I will do is, you can either do me a voice memo or send me. I'll actually attach it as a closing for the video. That's what I can do. So we'll do that. So that way, yes, some parting words. I want to make sure we hear your parting words. And again, Matt, thank you, brother. I am so glad, and prayers to your family and your whole family that is extended and being impacted. We continue to send our love, our support, and our strength during these times. And like I said, I'm glad that we connected. And anyone I connect with, I think when we first connected, I said, we're now an extension. We're connected. You're agent for life. We agents for life now. He's nodding, you guys. All right, we'll go ahead and wrap this up. Again, thank you all for tuning in on Ready, Set, Real Estate. This is that time where you get to make a difference in someone's life by simply sharing, letting them know what we're doing on the show. Again, Ready, Set, Real Estate airs on demand on Wednesdays. On Wednesdays, and you get to catch the replay on radio, podcasts, everywhere. This is my time, and I appreciate you for allowing me to enter your digital world with this information on season 5, episode 3, the Bahamas. We'll see you next week for another powerful and productive show and information on Ready, Set, Real Estate. Bye.